Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hello and welcome to this episode of A Woman's Prerogative, where we provide high-class education for all our viewers. We also encourage our followers to have access to free content that will help them in their journey on Earth. This episode is The Winter Blues, How to Get Out of It. So I am your host, Reverend Lydia Fougere. I introduce myself. I am a reverend in metaphysics, author of 2 volume series, 111 Reflection for Thy Earth Odyssey, available on Amazon. I am also a spiritual teacher who works on personal transformation, introspection, mindfulness, and compassionate self-discovery. I invite my readers to engage in life through curiosity, clarity, and sense of sacred connection through my programs. You can contact me to register to my groups to achieve an exciting spiritual journey. We are viewed on USA Global TV and Radio by over 109,000 followers, and over 12,000 videos have been produced on different subjects on YouTube. And Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, our owner and producer, who has 38,300 followers and has produced over 11,000 videos, also I would invite you to subscribe to her subjects because they are amazing. We are watched here on LinkedIn on E360. So welcome to E360 on X, Facebook, and Instagram. I have the honor of having as co-host the wonderful Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. She is the owner of this station and producer of most shows. She has her own YouTube channel, as mentioned before. She's a private advisory, global media leadership founder, executive producer, and chief listener officer. She is owner of USA Global TV and Radio, a peace ambassador, a best-selling author, and winner of the YouTube Silver Creator Award. And I could go on for 10 minutes with all her achievements. So let us welcome our wonderful Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck.
Thank you so much for having me, Reverend. It's so good to be here on another episode of A Woman's Prerogative. And what people might not know is that this show, A Woman's Prerogative, this has been launched. I think we've been going for 5 years on this show, which is amazing. So thank you for taking the time. We always have terrific episodes, and this is another great one, The Winter Blues, How to Get Out of It.
Yes, it is a wonderful show. I do like that show very much. I am new as host. I was a panelist, but we had Carolyn Heward that was before, and it was always a great journey. That show was always a great journey, and we have not only had women as guests, we also had men as guests, because there are several subjects that we have touched several subjects. So today, the subject is the winter blues, how to get out of it. And we will attack the subject naturally because we are mostly in the winter blues. Many people do talk about it. And I would like your opinion about the winter blues and where it, what you are in New Jersey, I think. So could you please talk about winter in New Jersey, please?
Yes, well, actually, the interesting thing is that for most of us, it's officially spring. I think it was the 20th of March. Today's the 23rd. And it still feels cold and it's raining today. Now, when I say cold, I have to preface it because I know in Canada it's really been cold for you. You've had the type of cold that I can't even imagine. But what I have found is there have been a couple of days when it was fairly warm in the 70s and people completely dressing like it's summer. And now that it's colder again, people are still dressed like it's summer. It's kind of funny. I'm always overdressing because I'm always cold, and people are, I see them in shorts and t-shirts. I'm like, okay. But I think the point is that we want to get out of that winter mindset. And I think, especially when the clocks change, and I know in some places in the world they don't change or they haven't changed yet, like with the UK, I think they're changing this upcoming weekend. But when they do change, it kind of messes with our system and we feel a little bit differently because we either gained an hour or we lost an hour. So I don't know. I'm excited for the warmer weather and I'm really excited for where it's going to take me spiritually and creatively. So, what about you? Is it still freezing cold there in Canada?
Well, we have had very freezing cold last week, but this weekend has been very, very nice. We had rain also. So today we actually have a very nice day. I have to admit, we are 7 degrees, I think, 7 degrees Celsius. So I do think that would be something like 15 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe. So that is pretty nice for us. So in Canada, as it says, we are in Canada after all. But I am anxious for summer, I have to admit,
You know what's so
because
funny, Reverend, is that I was living in Florida for a number of years, 6 years and then 3 years. And the Florida weather, it's typically warm, but in the winter, they have their days, there's frost. But I didn't like living there. I don't know why. I think it was because it was always the same. And there's something about the seasons, and there's something about when winter comes and things are, leaves are coming off the trees, and then when you see flowers blooming, there's just something about the seasons. And again, I'm not a winter person, but I actually didn't mind it that much. So one thing that I'd love for us to delve into is about mindset. And when we think about winter blues, people can have the blues any time of year, and they can be brought on because of actual situations or things that we don't even understand or know. So I know that you do a lot of work in the spiritual world and that you're an empath. And I'd really like for you to talk about spirituality and mental well-being, because I think that there's something to be said. There are people who are not spiritual. There are people who are just everything's black and white. But what would you share with someone who feels like because the clocks change or because the weather's changing that they feel a certain way?
well, the thing is that they do feel a certain way because the weather actually has an effect on them because it is the sun. If they see the sun, they feel a lot better. But there is the moon also. We are in super moons. We do have super moons now. So it is actually very great for us. So spiritually, our people actually connect with the moon and the sun very much. And they feel a tremendous attraction to the sun because the sun brings us happiness, so much happiness, and people do not realize the happiness that the sun brings. And even if a person does not feel any spirituality whatsoever. They actually feel happiness through the sun and through the moon also. Because I will explain something. In hospitals, when it is time for in delivery rooms, because I worked in a delivery room, and on the full moon, it is absolutely crazy on the full moon. It has an impact on mothers, and it has an impact also in psychiatry, because I worked in psychiatry also because I was a registered nurse. So the thing is that even if people do not understand spirituality, they realize there is an impact. Even if most doctors do not believe in spirituality, they do understand there is an impact on full moons and on new moons also, because there is a lot more turmoil on those two cycles. So even if the person does not believe in spirituality, it has an impact on the person. So there's a mindset that actually sets some kind of different feeling. A person on a full moon, on a new moon, is different. And people realize it when they work in hospitals. And you also, I am sure you know about those phenomenons. I am sure you know about those, Dr. Jacqueline.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting because I only typically watch reality TV, and I was watching a show called Alone. I'm not sure if you've heard of this, but these people signed up for this program and they were dropped somewhere in the Arctic Circle. And at a certain point, the daylight got to be 4 hours, 2 hours, then there was no daylight. And you would watch and listen to what these contestants had to say about how the lack of sun was impacting them. And I think your point is so well taken that the lack of sun really does do something. Like today, it is raining and miserable. And I always go to the gym today and do 2 classes. And I actually thought maybe I won't go out today because it's raining. If it was sunny, I wouldn't even think twice. But of course, I am going to go after I had a little debate with myself. But it's because it's not sunny outside. So when the weather is warm, and we have acclimated to the time change, and it's lighter longer, as opposed to when the winter, at least here on the East Coast of the United States, when the daylight is shorter. What are your thoughts about when we have more hours with the sun as opposed to fewer, like what I mentioned on the program Alone?
Well, there is a lot of happiness. I have to explain that I come from Upper Canada. So this is, we're talking about very north on the 52nd parallel. So that is pretty much on the level of Moscow. So in winter, for us, it was dark. We did not have much sun. But in the summer, you can imagine that at 3 o'clock in the morning, the sun was up, and at 9 o'clock at night, it was still sunny outside. So that was on the 52nd parallel. So we were outside, and we actually, my brothers and I, we were silly and we were playing games till 9 o'clock at night. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, we'd be up again on the grass and playing in the grass because we were all happy and it was summer. So the thing is that, we felt we were never tired during the summer. So it had a lot of impact. The summer had a lot of impact. The sun had a lot of impact. So the thing is that there was only maybe 5 hours of darkness where I was born. So for 22 years, I was in a place where there was only 5 hours of darkness. But during the winter, it was very dark. But we were we were happy there. So the thing is that we did not really feel because we had so much to do in that town. So when you think about that, the sun and the moon, they do have an impact because when you do not have enough sun, look at your eyes. When your eyes, they're not shiny inside. The thing is that you do not have enough light. So you do not have enough serotonin in your brain for the day. So that is the problem. We need so much light to function in a day. So when there's only 5 hours of sunlight during a day, we do not function enough. So that is how it works up there.
Yeah, that's a great point. Thank you for that. And I think also we should clarify, I am not a licensed therapist. I'm a coach. You're a coach. I don't think you're a licensed therapist, are you? You're a nurse.
No, I'm a nurse.
So I would like to just get into a little about defining the blues, because to some people, blues might be, oh, I stubbed my toe. And to someone else, it could be, I can't even get out of bed. There's a range of things. So as a nurse, what are some of the things that you saw when it came to mental health that may have nothing to do with what's going on with the weather?
Well, when it comes to mental health, the thing is that, people feel depressed. They feel depressed. They feel they do not have anything in front of them. We have to be very careful because the thing is that there is the blues, which is temporary, but there is also depression. So the blues, only the blues, can be fixed with light therapy, maximum daylight, physical activity, socializing. We can do something with that, and diet and nutrition, and better sleep. Prioritize sleep. But when it comes to depression, that is another story. This is when people are extremely different and they even come to have suicidal thoughts. So there is a difference between the blues and depression. So we have to be very careful. The blues and depression is not the same at all. Depression you need to see a doctor when you're going through a depression. So a person has to understand that if the blues goes on too long, they might need to have the advice of the medical staff. They might need to have help. They might need to be on medication. And it is normal. This is normal. So they have to have help, external help. So it is not exercise or things like that that will help them. They really need external help, and it is serious. So what do you think about that?
I think that's a great point. And for people who are reluctant to ask for help, if you want to start feeling better, that might be the logical next step. And for people who are going through the blues, something I want to just talk about, because I think it's important. Many times when a season changes or a time zone changes, we have these expectations that things should be, just because something is changing on the calendar. But yet we haven't actually done the work for those things to change. And so what am I talking about? Well, at some point when it starts to get warmer, people start typically wearing different clothing. And so maybe now your arms are showing, maybe your legs are showing. And for some of you, maybe your midriff is showing. But we haven't gotten to the point where we feel comfortable about it. And so now we feel upset. And we feel upset and we start putting ourselves down. And it can also be that a person expected by April of this year, because they made New Year's resolutions, that X, Y, and Z were going to be happening, but they didn't actually do anything or they stopped, they got disappointed, and they just didn't move forward. So what are your thoughts about how we set ourselves up to have these expectations that are not actually practical if we're not going to do the work?
Oh, well, yes, I know lots of us have expectations actually when we want to wear that favorite dress or whatever. Or the thing is that, we do not want to wear long dresses. So the thing is that if we actually decide that we have a goal and we have not yet gone to our goal, we have not obtained our goal, we have to understand that it is not the end of the world. So let us say our goal was a size 2, and the thing is that we're at a size 4. Well, you know what? That is good. So the thing is, we have to adapt to our goals. We do have to adapt to our goals. We have to be good to ourselves. We have to realize that if we have not obtained our goals, we will be perfect anyways. Because the thing is that people come in all sizes and shapes. So we have to understand that. And why do we have so much expectations? Is it for us or for others? So that might be something that contributes to the blues. We might have high expectations, not for us, but for others. So we have to think about that. Is it the fact that we thought we wanted to look like that we are depressed? Or is it because we wanted that for ourselves? So is it worth being depressed to please others? Not really, not really. The thing is that we can do whatever we feel. We have been able to do so much, and we should be proud of what we have done. So if we have not been able to go to the gym as often, the thing is that we should be proud we went at least. So that is the way I see it.
Thank you, Reverend. And I also wanted to mention that we could have, from what I mentioned before, we could have the opposite perspective, which is we say to ourselves, well, I'll never be. It will never happen for me. And so we just use that as a barometer and say, well, I would have failed anyway. I wouldn't have made it anyway. And then we can be upset about that. That can cause the blues. So how do we stay in the middle without going too far to the one side or too far to the other side? Any thoughts on that?
How do we stay in the middle? We actually try not to care what others say or think. This is the most difficult thing. So it is very difficult actually to stop thinking, what will the others think? What will the others say? I do not fit in that dress. I do not look like I was 25. Well, we're not 25 anymore. And even if I were given the choice to go back to 25, I would say no. So this is the way it is. So when we think about our goals, when we think about why our goals, we have to think, what's the advantage of what we wanted and what is the disadvantage? If our goals gives us a lot of disadvantage, well, maybe they were not realistic in the first place and we asked ourselves too much. What do you think?
I think so. I think so. And I think also as we go through different situations in life, we start to have an awareness and we start to be more receptive of the awareness as opposed to doing everything for external validation. And I've shared before, I live alone. I spend most of my time alone because I love the peace. I don't like the drama. And when a person's living like this, as I am, I'm very happy, but other people can judge me and say, well, that doesn't make sense. Of course, that doesn't make sense to you because you're not living it. But the external validation isn't a part of my life for the most part. It has been in the past. And I think once you remove that, you're really able to start looking at your own behavior and why you're doing things and what you're expecting from it. And I also shared that today's day 65, I removed alcohol and sugar from my already pretty strict diet. And there's nowhere to hide. There's nothing to turn to. There's no one to turn to except for me. I'm just literally high on life. So I have to look at things, and I do look at things in a very different way than I have before. But many times people will use distractions to keep them from actually exploring what is at the core of why it is they're really upset. What do you think about that?
Yes, they will look at what is at the core, but at the same time, they will look at what is at the core, but actually feel guilty anyways, because they will never be satisfied. They will look at what is at the core. Yes, I do understand, but even if they do this kind of introspection of why am I doing this? They will never be satisfied. That is the way it is. I was like you. I lived for 15 years alone. And I tell you, as someone was making a joke about it, is that poor single women, we are going to die alone in our beautiful house, in our beautiful environment, without drama, without anyone giving us orders. Someone was telling me that, and it made me laugh so much. But the thing is that with our beautiful plants and our cat, but the thing is that we do that at the core. What do we want? I changed that. I'm changed that because I am happy with the choices that I made. But the thing is that the choices of the 15 years alone, I made the choice of being alone. And the thing is that it's happy. So I made those choices to be happy, and I still make choices to be happy. So the thing is that at the core, are we happy? If we are happy, good. If we're unhappy, we have to revise our choice. If if we decide that we are unhappy, well, we have to look at the reasons. Is it because we make choices for others, or are we making choices for ourselves? I know you're a happy person.
Yes, I'm a very happy person. And by the way, that doesn't mean you and I know I'll be 63 on Thursday, and I know
Oh, yes.
you're somewhere near me, but we've seen a lot of things in life that younger people may or may not have seen. I mean, the longer you're here, the more things you're going to see and the more things that you have to deal with. And so at some point, we as humans have to say to ourselves, I just want to be happy. How can I find peace? And that doesn't mean if the world outside is going crazy and all the things that are going on, that doesn't mean that we can't choose peace. We can. And some people will say, well, then you're being ignorant. Have you seen the news? Do you see what's going on? Of course I see what's going on. Of course I know what's going on. But that doesn't mean that I have to stick my head in the ground and say the world is doomed. I'm doomed. I get to make a choice. And the choice is to show up. And how can I be of service? How can I help others? Whereas other people, and there's no judgment about this, they will just sit in a place of anger and hatred. And that's not serving you. It's actually doing the exact opposite. Reverend, what can you share with our viewers, again, with your long experience as a nurse, about the fact that what you're putting out into the world actually can come back and hit you in the face? People think that, like, for example, if someone posts something that is filled with hatred on social media, basically people see that the person posted it and your name is identified with that as being somebody filled with hatred. And so that can have a ricochet effect where people say, you know what, I'm not engaging with that person. What do you think?
Well, the thing is that, first of all, I am 63. So
Yay!
we're going to settle that. So I am 63. I will be 64 in July. So that is it. So I am older than you. So the thing is that, when we write, when we do a post, I know that I do post. I do post things that people like, people don't like, but I do post a lot of funny things also. So the thing is that, I post for my views. And the thing is that I post for several reasons. So the thing is that I post all kinds of posts. So they do not have a specific reason whatsoever. I post silly posts and I post posts that actually reflect what I see. So they reflect what I see, what I hear, and sometimes I am overwhelmed by what I see and what I hear. And people call me. It is not because I do not go out that people do not call me. I know people all over the world, and they want me to share things because they want me to engage. And I do engage. I do engage in things that actually do not always make others happy. And like when in Iran, well, there is war in Iran, but let us think about years ago when women burned their hijab. Um, they wanted to protest. Many women from Iran wrote to me because I know many. And the thing is that they wrote to me, and many were in danger, and they wanted my help because they do not have Facebook, things like that. And they did not have a voice. And I decided to be a voice for them. So the thing is that I decided to be a voice for them. It is not because was a voice for them that I am necessarily for war. Not at all. I was a voice for them because the thing is that they were repressed. But that was it. I do not have a voice for everything. I have a voice for things that actually touch me, things that I have been close to, and things that actually I went through myself. So the thing is that when I have a voice, I have a voice for things that I know. Only that, things that I really know.
Well, it sounds like you're really committed to the causes that you believe in, which makes a lot of sense. And I know you as a very kind and a very loving and very compassionate person. And I really believe that all of us are capable of that. But some people, for some reason, and I'm not here to judge or evaluate, they choose a different path. And that could be because they've been hurt or they don't feel seen. And when it comes back to our topic about the winter blues, I think we have to acknowledge that it is a real thing. And if someone is going through it, we have to be understanding and receptive and kind. But if it gets to the point where it seems to be more than that, and if you, as the person, you feel that you really are not able to function and you're not able to feel productive and feel happy and feel joy, it might be time to reach out and again ask for some help. So, what are some signs, would you say, of someone with the winter blues as opposed to someone who's depressed? You touched on this in the beginning, but I think it might be good to bring it back in as we come to the close of the show.
Well, first of all, they will isolate themselves a little, but not as much as a person that is in a serious depression. They will isolate themselves. They will have a lack of light. They will have trouble sleeping also. They will lower their physical activity. They will socialize less. They won't eat as well. They have the blues. They don't feel like eating. They do not feel like eating well. They do not feel like making an effort. They have the blues. Let us say you have a friend that actually goes shopping every week. And so it's like her religion. My friend is like that. So the thing is that if she does not want to shop anymore, I know she has the blues. I'm worried. So the thing is that they have the blues. But when it's depression, it is lost a lot more. So they can have the blues, it's temporary. So the blues that actually is long, that can lead to a depression. So when you realize your friend that keeps going on, that actually your family member, whatever, if it goes beyond 3 weeks, well, it's time to see someone in the medical field. It is time to actually consult because the blues is temporary. A depression is there to stay unless it is cured. So that is it. The blues is temporary because when the season changes, the blues go. They just go. With the sun, the blues just depart. But not a depression, no matter.
Yeah, there is a song, rainy days and Mondays always get me down. So it's normal, I think, for a rainy Monday as it is here in New Jersey. And I know you said it's sunny there, but it's temporary. And most things in life are temporary. We feel that it is the end of the world, but it is typically a time in life. It is a time that will expire and move into the next chapter. And so I want everyone out there to realize that. So, Reverend, we have come to another conclusion of a fabulous episode. So I'd love to just say thank you for having me here. If anyone wants to reach me, my contact details are in the chat. And if you would like to be a guest on any of our shows, you can go over to our website and that information is in the chat also. So thank you for having me and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you. So thank you very much for being there. So we thank our audience and thank you for our wonderful co-host, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. So see you next week. So for A Woman's Prerogative. So goodbye.
Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? In a world quick to judge, one book dares to reveal the hidden cost of silence. Discover Holy but Harmful, The Silent Sin of Judgment, How Hidden Judgments Destroy Relationships and Damage Lives by Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. The Amazon #1 bestseller that's transforming the way we understand ourselves and the way we see others. Pick up the companion workbook to uncover your own hidden judgments and learn how to break free from them. Available now on Amazon and at fine bookstores worldwide.
Every woman carries a story of strength, of purpose, of light. Through her courage, the world is transformed. Through her grace, generations are inspired. This is Iconic Women. Within Every Woman Lives a Goddess, a celebration of brilliance, beauty, and empowerment. Join us every Wednesday at 11 a.m. New York, 4 p.m. London time, only here on USA, Global TVR, and radio. Featuring the iconic Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, honoring voices that shine across the world. Subscribe to our YouTube channels, USA Global TV and Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, to watch and engage with all our content. World-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.